So am I.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are here fresh off of Liverpool's 1-0 massive victory over Ajax in the Game 5 of the Champions League. With Atalanta tying New Zealand, this officially makes us top of the group no matter what happens in our last game, which is absolutely massive. Finally, under Klopp, we don't go into the last game of the group stage needing to get a result. This is going to be absolutely massive. But joined as always with Andrew and Wahomie. I'm your host, Steven. But guys, let's get right into it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate you guys. But woo, 1-0 nail biter. I thought we could have played better, but overall, we'll take the result. We'll take the 3 points. But Andrew, why don't you kick us off? Overall thoughts on the performance today?
Yeah, I said in our pre-match video that I thought the game would come down to I actually thought Jordan Henderson, but I actually went against the grain there and I said the front three. Well, the front three were definitely off today. I thought Sadio Mane, his touch was a little off, didn't look himself. Salah missed some chances. Jota, same thing with him. Bobby looked okay when he came on, but definitely missed a chance as well. I think it just came down to Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, and that back five. They were just absolutely immense back there. Kelleher looked like he was the next coming of I don't even know who, but he was just incredible back there. Fabinho and Matip, they're easily the best two center back pairings, probably in the league. I would think right now they're just absolutely immense back there. Neco Williams, for all the haters, for all the abuse that he's been getting, he really just threw it in their face tonight. I thought he was solid against David Neres on that right hand side, and he put in that assist as well. And Robertson was obviously great the whole time, but for me it's Gini Wijnaldum. He was, how many games has he played consecutively for 90 minutes? It's just absolutely incredible. He is just an engine. He doesn't get injured, thank God, or else we'd be in some real issues. All around great performance by the Reds that we got it done, and now we can relax against Midgetland.
What do you think, Holmes?
Yeah, I thought if I was being subjective, I thought in the first half we were quite poor, to be honest, overall. I thought there was no cohesion in terms of like the forward line again. I think Salah, Jota, and Mane, they're not passing each other when the other one's through or clean through. There was poor decision making overall, I thought, from the team in terms of a final ball. And I think since the Atlanta game, that's been a concern in terms of the forward line cohesion, that it's not been there. Because like Salah should have passed to Mane and we go 1-0 up. I don't understand why he's taking another touch and trying to then dive in, trying to get a penalty when it's never a penalty. So, I felt that. And I thought also in the first half, I think tired legs against the midfield because I think the second half of the midfield was way more improved. I think the first half, they struggled in terms of influencing the game from the forward point of an offensive point of view. And I think again we were seeing there was no link between midfield and attack. And I think that Robertson didn't have as great a game today in terms of his normal influence in terms of going forward. I think a lot of his final passes weren't that good tonight, or crosses. So I think there was a lot of pressure in terms of how we were playing. That's why I think in the first half we resorted to long balls as getting through. That's the only way we were getting through, was just a long ball from Fabinho-Matip and put us through. And I think it's a grinding. It's a one of those wins you've taken 1-0 for the 3 points and also top the group. But if you look at overall performance, it's a concern, and I think that we need to improve if we're going to beat Wolves, because I don't think we're playing well enough to. We're missing too many chances. We're not clinical. We're going to that later on, but I just feel like it was good in the second half. I think the midfield started getting in the box. I think that's why Curtis Jones got that goal. Because I was saying that, while he's playing well from a defensive point of view, I was thinking that we need to do more in terms of offensive, because I didn't think one of the front three was going to score tonight. Just the way they're missing chances and they were just being sloppy with the final ball.
Well, homie, I think you saw a change in that second half. I think that you make a lot of good points, but when you're talking about the first half, I think we really struggle with their press up top. there were so many different occasions where Wijnaldum or Henderson, Fabinho or Matip were just sitting back with the ball, and they didn't have an option. So that's why we were resorting to those long balls over the top. And because the three could hold on to the ball, we were kind of stuck in that in between. And then something changed in the second half. I think, like you're right, I think Jones started to push forward a little bit. He started to make some of those runs, and that's what ultimately got him the goal and got us the win.
But I think that's what we need to see more of from the start of the first half. We need to see more of that if we are going to be winning games, especially if we're not going to have certain players back for a while. We need to see more from our field. One of them, otherwise, what happens is if they're all just doing what they're doing right now, they're not in the first half, then we struggle in games because they're doing the similar kind of role of keeping possession. You need someone that's going to be willing to break forward and get in the box. And I think Jones, like I said, did that in the second half, and that's why he got his goal. So, I'd like to see more of that because, Jones was a goal scorer in the under 20s. He was a goal scorer. He's scored loads of goals. So I want to see more of that from him. I think that's the next evolution in him is like to start scoring on a regular basis for the first team because he's got that in his locker and get in the box. But overall, I think I'm happy we got the result. We got over the line.
Do you think tactics changed from the first half to the second half for Liverpool? I mean, it seemed like because Ajax had so much possession, we were playing more counterattack, and maybe that's because of the reasons I just provided you. But it seemed like in the second half, we really took it to him. We instituted a midfield press.
I think Klopp wasn't happy in the first half at all. Again, I think he gave the kick at the backside to say the same thing against Brighton. Although Henderson changed the game against Brighton, he still gave him a kick at the backside because he wasn't happy in the first half. And I think that Ajax were probably a bit wasteful in some of the chances they had, where they could have done better with their final ball. Like Neres, there was a few times he got in, he could have done better with his final ball. Right. A better team would have punished us with their decision making. So overall, look, it's one of the games we need to get the win, and that's what matters. So we can be critical about certain aspects. We just need to get the win. So I'm happy we got the win, and I'm happy that obviously Neco shut the doubters tonight who were silenced. I was one of them, so I'm happy he shut me up and put in a good performance.
We're not own up to it.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. He did that. I'm happy with Kelleher. That was an outstanding performance. And like I said, I just tweeted why does Klopp keep him in the basement? If he's that good, why is he in the basement? Why the hell are we having to see Adrian earlier in the season if Kelleher's that good? So
so funny because
Kelleher gave up 7 goals last weekend in the U23s against Man City. So let's not pretend like he's just been this outstanding goalkeeper behind Adrian this entire time. The reason why he went to Kelleher is because Adrian has proved that he is just a complete liability back there, and he's due for at least one major mistake a game. I think that's why we went to Kelleher. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen him. But hey, props to the kid. He made most of the opportunity, and he looked great. And he's probably going to be our second choice now going forward. But before I get into the specifics on the game, because we have a lot to cover, I want to start with the team lineup because shout out to Jeff and Claire. They nailed that yesterday with that leak. I mean, other than Adrian, it was spot on. But the injury to Allison sounds like he's going to be out for Wolves as well. Seems like it's just a muscle tightness, not quite a pull or a strain or anything like that. But you guys, are you even a little bit concerned about that? Because we know Allison's injury history since he's been here. So is that something that you guys are going to be concerned with? And I think we can all agree that Kelleher's earned the start now against Wolves.
Yeah, I think for me, I'd be a bit concerned because you don't see other keepers in the world getting as many injuries. Alisson does. So it is a concern, the fact that he gets this many injuries. And then I tweeted, is it, because these are muscle injuries that come from, some of it passed from training, how the person's training, and then some of it, I don't think it's just down, we can just say it's down to amount of games because Chelsea and Man City aren't getting the same injuries and they're playing the same amount of games as us. So I think there's a concern of how we're training. We might not be training loads, but I think in the intensity of the training might have an impact in terms of the players. So do I be concerned after tonight? No, because if it's just for Wolves, then I can accept it. If it was longer than Wolves, then I'd be a bit more concerned because I as much as Kelleher played well tonight, I'd rather have Alisson versus Tottenham than Kelleher, because I think Tottenham will be a team that tested him way more than Ajax did, and they would punish any indecisiveness against us than we saw tonight for that Ajax could have done. So I think I just hope it is just he's back for Fulham. That's it. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed for that, because if it's longer than that, because we never know with our medical team as well, they might say Klopp says the guy is out for a week or half, and then it ends up being 2-3 weeks, then 4 weeks. So I don't know what to believe nowadays when they say a player's out for in a short period, because it never seems that way. So I hope it is just a master tightness.
Yeah. What do you think, Andrew?
What this tells me is I think Wahomey makes a lot of good points there. But in the past 2 weeks, we've had so many games. We've only really had time for recovering periods. So I just hope it's nothing more than a hamstring, I guess is what I'm saying. I think Klopp had said that it could be 10 to 14 days. So yeah, I think it'll be cutting it close to that Spurs game, and obviously he would get that rest against Midtjylland. But what this tells me is that this summer, obviously Adrian's gone. I don't know if Kelleher is the backup that we need on a championship side. Maybe that maybe I'll be proven wrong, but we need to go into the summer transfer market looking for a backup keeper. I don't know who it is. I don't really know who's out there, but they need to have a similar attitude to Adrian, but a better ability, obviously, because he has a great attitude. He's always so optimistic. He's always tweeting and engaging with fans. But we just need somebody who's better in there. He had a good first season, but I think he's reached his peak, and he needs to move on to some greener pastures.
Wait, you said 10, 15 days? Is that what Klopp said that Alisson's out for? Because Joyce just said he's unavailable for Wolves.
I thought Klopp in an interview said it would be between 10 to 14 days.
He's out.
I've read that somewhere.
He's 14 days out of Tottenham game. Damn it.
I could be wrong. Who knows? I thought it was 10 to 14 days.
We'll see, because even with missing Wolves and missing Midtjylland, it's gonna be right around like day 11, day 12, day 13 when we play them. So that's gonna be 16. Yeah, so it's 15 days out.
Yeah. Yeah, the only concern I would have here is that hamstrings are a nagging injury. That's the same thing I have with James Milner getting an injury. If you come back too soon, I had so many hamstring injuries when I played in college.
It's true, he did.
It's one of those nagging things. You sprint at the wrong time, and all of a sudden it goes again, and you're out for 2 weeks. That's just how it is. So, hopefully these guys heal quicker than I do, and they can be back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but I wanted to kind of touch on one of Wahomey's points too, when he kind of mentioned how the first half we were pretty lousy, second half we got better. Honestly, that's been a theme of our season. It's turning out to me that it really seems like mentally, it's almost like we try to weather the storm in the first half, try to understand how they want to play, how they're going to attack us. And then the second half, Klopp changes a couple things, and right out of the gate, we start playing better football in the second half. So that was one of the things that I noticed in the first half. And we've talked about it a lot on this podcast. And that was, we talked about it even on the last one, the ball into the front three. And then when the front three get the ball, there's something off right now. And obviously we don't have the creativity in the midfield right now without guys like Ox, Keita, Shaqiri, Thiago, and we don't have Trent Alexander-Arnold to be whipping balls in and being dangerous attacking. But even we can't keep making these excuses. Like, I understand that we don't have these guys, but somebody has to step up and do it. I thought Curtis Jones played a great game today, and he offered a lot. But still, there was just times when the midfield, the front three were having to receive the ball way too far away from the net. We got to find ways to get them the ball around the 18, either, by the corner flags and Salah and Mane go one-on-one, or finding some really good link-up play going through the middle, because like Wahomey said, we cannot keep relying to keep playing awful going forward and getting lucky. Like, hey, that was a great goal by Curtis Jones, but Onana played that terribly. He read that cross completely wrong, and he made the most out of it. But teams like Wolves, who are really solid defensively, with Tottenham coming up, we cannot continue to play this way, because we cannot afford to drop points in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that this break against Midtjylland is definitely going to help us a lot. I think one of the reasons why we're starting so slow is we're exhausted. and maybe it takes like a yelling in the dressing room from Klopp to really get the afterburners going. But I mean, we have no subs. Bobby came on today, and Reece Williams at the end. But I think we desperately need a break. Hopefully, we can squeak a win past Wolves. Obviously, with their loss of Raul Jimenez, is going to be difficult for them, and hopefully he can recover quickly. But it's going to be a tough game, and we just need a break. We desperately need a break.
I was just thinking, like, I think it also comes down to, like, we need to be more clinical going forward. I think that's a lot of the forwards have taken a lot of the blame from it as well, because even against Brighton, there was 2 chances where if Salah scores but Jota passes to Salah properly, we take the lead. If Mane had passed to that chance to Salah and put him through and he scores, it changed the whole complexion of the game. Ajax game plan early on, after like 20 minutes, have to change the whole game plan. So I think the forwards need to step up more, because Salah again was poor tonight, to be honest. Like, he was non-existent in the first half. Second half, I don't know what it is, but since he's come back from Atlanta, he's not been good. I know he had that one chance against Brighton, but overall, he didn't have an amazing game against Brighton either. And he needs to do more in terms of. I know, even though, for example, I look at Mane was tired tonight, didn't do, but at least you saw him putting the shift in, like tracking back, trying to make things happen. I ain't seen the same thing as Salah. I've seen a lot of times where he's on the peripheral of the game, and then he's missing chances where he should be scoring or doing better. So I think, like, we need more from the forward. I think someone said on Twitter the other day that we are reliant on Jota a lot of times to score goals, and I think we are. We're too reliant on him to score goals. And there's only so long that you expect one player to be scoring goals. Mane hasn't scored a goal in like 9 games now. That's alarming. And I know he's tired, but we need more from the forwards to step up. That someone else has to be chipping with goals now, because we can't just say, oh, well, if Jota doesn't score, because I don't know how many goals that really someone like Jones is going to get this season. So we need some other people, the forward line, to be stepping up and getting goals in and say, look, I'm going to step up to the plate and score a goal now, rather than just saying, oh, well, if Jota doesn't score, who else is going to score?
I'm not really worried about the front 3, to be honest. I mean, these guys, they've been doing it for the past 4 seasons. They're going to come back. We've said this about Salah, I think, every season. He's like, oh, yeah, in the first season he scored 30-something goals, 40 goals, and now he's having a little bit of dip. Is he done at Liverpool? All these conversations always come up. I think his recent underperformances can be touted due to Trent's absence. He's had Neco Williams on that right-hand side. He's had James Milner.
You can't put that excuse, because Salah's missing easy chances. You can't say it's down to Trent when he's missing easy chances. You can't just say that, because Trent's not the one he's making him miss easy chances. He's missing sitters. Like, he's missing simple passes where Jota's free in the middle. There's twice Salah could have passed to Jota, who's free. He didn't pass to him. That's not down to Trent not being there. That's down to Salah's poor decision making. Same thing with Jota. There was 2 chances where he could have put Salah through. He doesn't. So those are down to poor decision making from the forwards, rather than a player missing.
I just think he's so desperate to score that he selfishly. That's what leads to his poor decision making. He's always selfish first, and he doesn't look for the pass first. So I think that's the issue is here. But it's tough for him to get into the game when he barely. It's in the first half especially. He barely saw the ball. I mean, the service from Neco wasn't great. Services from Jones weren't great. It was tough for him in the first half today. But I agree. He needs to pick it up. I think all 3 of them do, minus Jota. Bobby obviously needs to pick it up as well.
I'm just thinking, like, there's a venture that's going to run out. Like, the reason why I say it's different, your point of saying we've seen it before, this season is different, because there's far more. You're not going to win the league by 100 points like last year. So it's going to be a much more smaller margin, and I think people are going to drop points. We can't afford to drop points. We already did it with Brighton, and we got lucky last weekend because Chelsea and Tottenham drew. But we can't afford to be doing that. If we draw with Wolves, for example, let's say we draw with Wolves, then that was a door for everyone else to overcome us. So we need people to step up, especially over this Christmas period, because it's going to be grueling, especially if you look at our January. Our January is brutal in terms of the games we have, the big teams we have in January. So we need the forward line to step up and find some kind of reserve where they are going to start scoring goals, because eventually it will come back and bite us in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, I think this issue is just multi-layered, because when you think about, I completely agree with your assessment, Mahomie, on Salah and Mane. I mean, the one thing I'll say about Mane, and I think we can go back to even the end of last season, we were talking about his final touch before he shoots is completely off, and it still is all through this year. His for some reason, right when he's about to shoot, that last touch fails him every single time, it seems like. And he just can't put the ball in the perfect spot for a shot. And then same thing with Salah. Salah, he can switch off mentally, and not track back as much. I will say he has been tracking back pretty well, maybe not so much in this game. But again, and from their standpoint, it must be incredibly frustrating when half the times when they're even seeing the ball, their back is to the net and they're at the midfield line. They're not getting the ball in the dangerous positions where they can just get it, turn, beat your man, and rip a shot. I think maybe each of them had that once, maybe twice this game. We're not allowing them to do the things that they're really good at. And that's just turn, make your move, hit a shot. Like now they have to turn, dribble half the field, maybe make a couple moves, slide the ball over. It's just, that's just not in their DNA, and that's not what they should be doing. So, like in that regard, that's what I'm concerned with, and we need to get healthy quick, because if we keep having this issue, teams like Wolves, teams like Tottenham, they're gonna pick up points on us, and then we're gonna start falling behind a little bit. But going from there, I mean, I want to spend a little bit of time on Neco Williams. I just thought let's just talk about all the youngsters: Curtis Jones, Neco Williams, and Kelleher. I thought all three of these guys, unbelievable performances today. Curtis Jones, that was right up there with one of his best performances of the year. And Neco Williams and Kelleher, obviously, best performances of the year. I was thrilled for, especially a guy like Neco, with all the criticism that he's been getting in all of his performances this year, to bounce back. Andrew, what did you think, being a defender naturally, what did you think of his performance and, kind of your faith in him going forward? Because I know you're a big Neco guy.
Yeah, I mean, I played right back in college as well. I'm just going to continue talking about my collegiate career, but yeah, no, it's when you have like a tough run of games like he's had, the fan base is on you. One little mistake can set your confidence all the way down. You hit rock bottom in a match, or one good thing could lead to you overcoming those confident issues. I think in the beginning he might have given the ball away once. And I was worried for him. I thought his confidence was going to hit rock bottom again. But there was one play, I think halfway through the first half, where he got the ball off of a throw-in, and he did like the Trent. He just switched the field to Robertson in a dead straight line, and it was like the perfect switch of the field. And ever since then, like I think that boosted his confidence, and he was able to kind of take control of that right-hand side. I mean, Neres definitely had some chances, but I thought he kept him quiet for the most part. So it's funny when you look back at the start of the season, I don't think any of us would have predicted that our youngsters would have gotten us through to as the number one seed in the group stages. I mean,
no way.
You had Thiago come in, you had Jota come in, you have Virgil van Dijk, you have all these guys. I didn't think it'd be Curtis Jones getting the winning goal against Ajax to put us through as the number one seed.
Assisted by Neco.
Assisted by Neco, exactly. And Kelleher making some great saves.
Created in Liverpool, that goal was right there. But homie, how about you? Especially when it comes to Kelleher, because some of the things that we talked about yesterday was, because we thought Adrian was going to start, was allow Adrian to do the things that he's good at, and that's just like stopping shots. Like the one thing I loved about Kelleher's performance was his distribution was on point. He was very good in that regard, and obviously he made 3 or 4 stellar saves. So what did you think overall about his performance and getting the call into a Champions League game?
Yeah, I think as soon as I saw that he was in the team, in the start lineup, I thought that's the end of Adrian, to be honest. I thought that just kills it, because I don't know how Kelleher is. Is he like, how old he is? I can't. He's like 20, 21. I'm not really sure the age.
22 or something like that, yeah.
But isn't like, if you're going to have Kelleher start in a big Champions League game you need to win over Adrian, then it means that Adrian's number 3, to be honest. And Klopp just said now that he played Kelleher because he's better with the ball at his feet for footballing reasons. That just basically says that's how Liverpool play. We need a ball playing keeper. So basically say that's the end of Adrian. So I think tonight's going to be do wonders for his confidence. He made some really good saves, like there was that one in the second half where I think the last 10 minutes where he made a really good save, and I thought his shot stopping was good. He was decent enough in the air, and I thought that he was really good with distribution, and even like he had the Alisson touch where he's throwing the balls out to people, starting attacks.
I went to Mane.
So I thought like and to get a clean sheet in your first game in the Champions League, that's huge. Against a decent Iron team, that's huge. So I think it's going to do him well or good. And I thought at the end where Klopp gave him a massive hug, So I think he looks good. And I don't know, obviously, like Andrew said, I don't know if he's the backup keeper we need going forward. But for the time being, until we get to the summer, we can reevaluate things. I think he needs to be Alisson's number 2, And obviously, Wolves are going to be much of a bigger threat than Ajax. Because I think Premiership games are much more frantic in a way, and they're going to test him with more balls in the box. But I think I'd rather trust Kelleher now going into the Wolves game than Adrian. And I think Kelleher just gave. I think obviously it helps having Matip and being in front of him. There's such an outstanding partnership. But I think he gave them confidence as well. They didn't have to worry about, like with Adrian, there's always that fear that they have to panic, or the defenders have to panic. They have to fear, well, if I pass it back to Adrian, is he going to be able to kick the ball downfield? Or is he going to kick it halfway? Is he going to cause some kind of panic attack? But with Kelleher, they were passing it back to him, and he was just kicking it downfield comfortably. Even when he was under pressure, he didn't buckle. When people were trying to close him down, he was just kicking it comfortably down the field. So I think that's the big thing. He gives confidence to the defence, and they can then focus on doing their job because they know they've got someone behind them that can do the job for goalkeeper. So I think that's going to be huge in the Wolves game to have him in there because they're giving them that confidence.
Yeah, that was literally the point I was going to make. So you're spot on, because I think when you look at Adrian, when he first came into the team last year, I think the team did have some confidence in him because he made some huge saves. But then especially once that mistake happened against Atletico, you could start to see everything start piling up. And then obviously how he played at the beginning of this year, the team has zero confidence around him. The defense is shitting their pants anytime they make a back pass to Adrian. And even in some of the shots that he allowed in, his positioning was god-awful. So I just didn't think that they had any trust in him. And when you saw it today, I think, especially after Kelleher's performance today, I think the team is going to have a ton of confidence in him. Like you said, his distribution was spot on. The throw to Mane was majestic. And the thing that I loved was that he wasn't afraid just to, the short pass isn't there, I'm just going to kick it long. And I feel like that's where Adrian would continue to fuck up, would be like, oh, I have to hit the short pass because we like to play out of the back. It's like, no, dude, if it's not there, boot it long. And Kelleher knew exactly when to kick it long, when to play the short pass, when to hit the guys on the wing. So that was the biggest thing. But then on top of it, I'll say it again, he made 3 or 4 really, really nice saves. And just, I can only imagine how the back four feels, like having a guy like that behind him, because you saw last time against Ajax, Joe Gomez's response when Kelleher, Adrian came out of the net and Gomez looked at him like, what are you doing? We didn't see any of that with Kelleher. He did seem a little bit more quiet and not as vocal, but I think when you have Fabinho and Matip in front of you, you don't have to be too vocal. But shout out to that kid because he was huge today.
He's getting late tonight.
Top.
Definitely. We gotta find out who his girlfriend is, make sure. But honestly, the other thing I did want to cover, because we didn't really cover them too much, what did you guys think of Andrew, I know you said you think it's the best center back pairing in the league, but Fabinho and Matip, again, I thought they were both pretty solid. Provided great cover for Neco Williams and for Robertson, but hell, if these two guys can just stay healthy going forward for us, I think our back line will be okay, especially with Trent coming back. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I kind of said it earlier. I just think that these two guys are so solid. The one qualm I had with Joe Gomez is that, before he got injured, he had a nice little run there. But even before that, when Van Dijk was healthy, he just didn't read the game very well on occasion. He seemed to be out of position. Maybe he was ball watching. His awareness was just always a little off. But with these guys, Joel Matip and Fabinho, I mean, I think Fabinho is one of the smartest defenders I've ever seen, next to Van Dijk, at least on it. Yeah. So, I mean, he reads the game so well. He uses his body so well. He knows when to get into a challenge and when not to. And Joel Matip, it's so hard for forwards to turn him, just because he has these crazy ass long legs that nobody can really get by. He's like a little spider or something. I don't know what he is, but it's just, and you know what? They win almost every head ball. They're both tall guys. Every aerial duel, it seems to go in Liverpool's favor, and they're always covering for Neco. I think Fabinho seems to be the general back there with Van Dijk and Gomez out. But I hope, like you said, Steven, I hope that they can stay healthy, because I fully believe that they're the best center back pairing in the Premier League when they're healthy together.
Yeah, I think they are the key for us if we want to have a good Champions League and Premiership. I think keeping them both fit is crucial, because they're outstanding together. That's another clean sheet for both of them. They've kept out Lewandowski, Werner, Aubameyang, Vardy. These are some of the best strikers in Europe. They kept them out, kept the clean sheet against them. So I think they're crucial. And, we have to obviously manage Matip very fragilely, because obviously there's only amount of games he can play. But I think I'm very confident with them two partnership going into the Wolves game, going into the Tottenham game, that they can silence anyone, that they can deal with Harry Kane or Son or Neto or Traore or whoever it is that Wolves end up playing up top with Jimenez out. So yeah, it makes you feel confident that, even if you were to play a Bayern, I think that they would do perfectly fine against Lewandowski again. So, and they don't need to have blistering pace. It's just they're reading the game as well class. They know how to position themselves. They know they can do that. They have that dirtiness, like that thing where foreigners have that thing where they know how to sneak a foul in, or, they have that kind of dirtiness that you get, like the Continentals. You might not see a Gomez do it, but it's something that the Continental players do. They know how to sneak a foul or get an advantage extra. So they've got that kind of in them. So I think that, it's crucial that we keep them fit, and then we will have a good season.
My one issue with them is their distribution. That's where we miss Van Dijk back there. I mean, obviously his prowess as center back is beyond recognition throughout Europe, but the way he used to just ping balls to Salah or to Trent or whoever it is, we really miss that ability to switch the play. You see Matip try it on a few occasions and the ball goes out of bounds. So sometimes it can get a little troubling when we're dealt with a high press like we did today. But no, I mean, overall, they're just absolutely fantastic.
Well, before we get to me on the match, I wanted a quick minute on Bobby Firmino, because I know he was just a substitution today. I think this performance, I was completely satisfied with how he played. And for me, when I think about his last three matches, it's really some of the best that we've seen from him this year so far. I know he was still missing that clinical aspect. He missed that sitter today, but movement-wise, link-up play-wise, I mean, I think he created more chances than anyone else outside of Curtis Jones today. He came on, he had that one great run where he pretty much just ran straight and tried to play the ball through Mane. If Mane had a better first touch, that would have been a shot on target, but his movement's looking a lot better. He's looking a lot more lively again. He's tracking all the way back like he used to. So once he just gets this goal thing figured out, we're going to have that old Bobby back, in my opinion. But what did you guys think of his performance today?
Yeah, I thought when he came on, he did really well in terms of link-up play and pass. And I think that Mane should have had a better touch. And I think there's a bit where he took on 3 players. That was really class. And And yeah, I thought yeah, he looked really good when he looked really threatening, and he looked like he's getting back to the old Bobby. So yeah, I think like I was surprised. I maybe I know obviously Klopp maybe thought because Ajax play a high line to go the pace of Salah, Mane, and Jota, but I was surprised that Bobby didn't start because I think that I thought Mane needed a break, and I still think he needs a break. So for me, my question would be thinking is who do you go with against Wolves? I think Jota will start because obviously he subbed him off early, but then who does he go with up top?
I think it's either we play the four up front or Mane sits, in my opinion, because Mane does need the rest, but especially with how Wolves play, they typically play more of like a 3-4-3 type of setup. Having Bobby centrally for the link-up play, I think would be hugely beneficial against that team.
But I think maybe the reason why Klopp plays Mane all the time is because of the work rate Mane does and the grafting and the link-up play and stuff like that. That it's not there when Mane's not there. I think probably you might think actually, because I was thinking the other day, like when Mane's not playing, we don't win as many games. But if Salah's missing, we can still win big games. If Bobby's missing, we can still win. If Jota's missing, we can still win. But without Mane, we don't always tend to win when he's not playing. We struggle.
No, it's a good point, but I mean, to your other point though, like Jota's is playing against his old team, he's going to have a point to prove. He's going to be all over the place. So I think you can put him on the left side, knowing that he's going to have a point to prove. But what do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I actually think Mane's going to be rested. Salah was rested last game, and he wasn't happy about it. I think Mane's going to be rested this game, and will probably come on for Salah in the second half, maybe in like that 60th minute, and then it'll be interesting to see who plays against Spurs. In my opinion, I mean, we can get into that at a different episode, but I thought Firmino. You know what I think it is that he's seeing Jota score all these goals and win all these matches for us. And, a lot of times he's been on the pitch, but sometimes he's been on the bench, and that motivates a guy, and he's finally getting some rest. So I think those two things together, you're going to start to see the Firmino that we know and that we love. And hopefully we'll see some ninja kicks soon. Because I've been missing them.
Me too, man. I missed Bobby's kicks. But all right, let's get into man of the match. Who's everyone's man of the match today?
I'm going to go with Kelleher because his first game he made those massive saves. And I think that was an outstanding performance. Did a clean sheet in your first Champions League game. He could have been bags of nerves and he wasn't. And I think some of the saves kept us in the game.
Good choice. Andrew?
I don't know, man. It's tough. I mean, I think I'm going to probably go with Curtis Jones. He got the goal. I think he impacted the game in the second half. I thought he was very influential. I mean, he's 19 years old, and he got a game-winning goal to put us in the top seed. So, got to give it to the kid.
For the sake of love, I'm gonna go to Neco Williams. This kid deserves it. Hell of a performance. The kid was getting so much abuse and slander on Twitter and all the platforms, but he responded in a big way. We said yesterday that one of the biggest matchups to watch was him against David Neres, and I thought he won that battle after the first 20-25 minutes. So, props to him. Great bounce back performance, and let's see some more of that before Trent comes back because we're going to need it.
I forgot we didn't talk about Liverpool's new planning application.
The new what?
Liverpool put a planning application for extending Anfield Road, and
yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that's officially in. That's going to put us over 61,000 potentially for home matches. And when fans comes back, that's pretty massive. I mean, we're getting to the point now where Anfield's going to be one of the bigger stadiums in England, and that could be a really obviously a huge advantage for us because we know how
biggest.
I think it'd be the third biggest. I think I could be wrong on that.
I think Spurs is still bigger than our.
Old Trafford bigger.
Yeah.
Emirates bigger. Emirates might be bigger. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, Cena, cut you off.
Yeah, no, it'd be one of the biggest.
Good. Just that was pretty much what I was going to say. I mean, I just think Anfield's already a fortress, and getting another few thousand people in the stadium is going to make it louder and a harder place to be at. So, for it. It's great for the club.
Yeah, the good thing would be corporate boxes. That's a good thing as well. So, will be fans.
Good.
So yeah, that's a good thing. So yeah, I think that's going to be quite good, especially, you know, just to give us more money as well for transfers and stuff. I think that's going to be crucial. So if FSG can bring that in, then I think they've done another massive thing for us. You know, so it will put us for Klopp's final few years, if he does extend, in a really good place.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, we'll see how that construction goes. It's going to be, you know, at least a year process for that, probably a little bit longer. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of Yanks of the Cop. We'll be back in a couple of days for the pre-match against Wolves. So, you know, up the Reds. We appreciate all you guys, you know, listening in. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. But otherwise, tune in. We're going to have a great pre-match coming for you. So, up the Reds. We'll see you then, everybody.
See you guys.
Knockout round.